with stories to unfold. Keep your eyes wide open and your soul won't grow cold. In the realm of the strange and the fantastical, lost in the dark, but it's light so magical.
Hey up, it's Steve from Old Yorkshire Geek, and it's time to review episode 3 of season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This one's called Shuttle to Kenfori. I'm not being attacked by, some alien vines. It's my hair, I've just washed it. So I can't do anything with it. But anyway, rather than last week or last time, I did a scripted review that I just read out. I thought, sod it, I'm too lazy, we're just going to go through the episode. Which I didn't mind. There were bits in it that kind of annoyed me. There are still those lingering fingerprints of Alex Kurtzman and his way of doing Star Trek on this. But that's by the by. This were better than the previous 2 episodes, in my opinion. This is the zombie episode. This one was written by Anitra Johnson and Bill Wolkoff, who I've never heard of. But I'm sure they're in the writer's room. I'm just glancing through the writers for season 3. Most of them I've never heard of. Henry Alonso Myers, fair enough, I've heard of him because he's one of the showrunners. Kirsten Beyer, I've heard of her because she used to be a showrunner, didn't she? I was thinking of somebody else, I don't know. Anyway, but I think the rest of them, pretty much never heard of. Anyway, obviously the writers of this episode were fans of the zombie genre, particularly George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and there's a little bit of Shaun of the Dead thrown in as well. But we will get on with it. We'll have a look. We'll review this episode. We'll go through it, and I'll tell you my thoughts as we do so. We had a quick recap of what happened last time. Remember, Marie Battelle, Captain Marie Battelle, his girlfriend, were infected by Gorn eggs. But they cured her. We find out in a minute. My nose is tickling. Going to have an argument. That she's not cured, and they've come back somehow. Don't ask me how, but they have. I can't really remember how they cured them before. How did they cure them? They did something, didn't they? To make them think. Did they make the eggs think that? I can't remember. But they cured her, but now she's uncured. But anyway, here he is walking through the corridors. Now he finds her. She's getting ready to get a new commission, a new ship. Which ship is she getting? No idea, it doesn't tell us. But she's unconscious in his quarters. So they get her to sick bay, find out the infection has come back. So she looks like, I don't think she'll make it through this season, to be honest. I've got that feeling. But she's going to give birth to baby Gorn at some point, I imagine. But don't worry, because Spock has a cure that he just pulled out of his ass. The Chimera Blossom, which is super rare. There we go, this flower, it can help her. Yes, and then it's rumoured to have these super duper healing qualities, but it can only be found in very few places, including this planet it straddles Klingon and Federation space, or is it just in Federation space? I'm not sure. They don't make it entirely clear, I don't think. But we've tracked down the one place we can find it. And it's on Kenfori. There we go. It was one to the location of a Federation research facility, but then the Klingons claimed it. So I'm not exactly sure where it is. Anyway, they were doing research on farming and stuff, and they developed this Chimera Blossom or whatever. But anyway, so I'm not entirely certain what's going on with this planet, but they don't really explain it. Not enough for my satisfaction. 1 minute they're saying it's in Klingon territory and the Enterprise can't go, close to it. Then the Enterprise goes really close to it, and then next thing they're saying the Klingons will go into Federation territory, as raiding parties. So is this planet in Klingon territory or Federation territory? I've no idea. They can't seem to make up their mind in this episode. She doesn't look well, does she? Have they made her look a bit pasty? I don't know. But anyway, so essentially, while this is going on, because Pike and Dr. Mbenga, I'm still going to call him Mbenga, even though in the show they pronounce it Mbenga. But I'm going through McCoy's pronunciation from the original series, Mabenga, not Mbenga, because this isn't canon. What we're watching. Anyway, so essentially, number one, Una, is in command of the Enterprise with her horrible hairdo for this episode. It is, I don't know what's going on. Is it a wig? Is something wrong with Rebecca Romaine? I don't know. It looks terrible. Or is it just tied up in a weird wraparound fashion? I've no idea, but it looks awful. Anyway, they've got to work out ways to get the shuttle in there, and they'll get the Enterprise close. But that's what they're doing. And we learn that Ortegas is kind of being a bit insubordinate. Remember, she's going through a bit of PTSD because of her experience with the Gorn. She got, basically stabbed through the guts, didn't she? Or clawed through the guts. So it's kind of affecting her. But anyway, say what you like about Strange New Worlds. It does look nice. The effects are really good. I do like. That is a nice shot. That's a good wallpaper, is that, isn't it? But anyway, there it goes. Oh, right, yes. Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about that. Let's go back again. It's going into warp, is the Enterprise. And this is another Alex Kurtzman thing. J.J. Abrams. School of bad robot. But they're going to warp. But not proper warp. J.J. warp. I hate it. Look, here it comes. Look, it's going into warp. It's not proper warp. And then suddenly, bang, they're there. Well, they just happened to be really close to it. I think they were actually at Starbase 1, what, in the Earth sector, the Sector 001, or whatever you want to call it. But suddenly they're just there because it's modern Trek and it doesn't take any time to get anywhere. I know classic Trek often did that as well. Journey times that should have taken months, or sometimes years, just happened in no time at all. But anyway, never mind. Right, so they arrive at this system, which is very... there's a lot of interference because of all this debris from whatever. But they're going to try and hide in the debris by shutting down most of the power and basically just gliding through. And they'll just look like pieces of debris. Because there's Klingon listening devices scattered amongst it. But is it in Klingon territory? Is it Federation territory? I have no idea. But there's the shuttle heading down with Pike and Mabenga. They do a little bit of bonding. They're supposed to be. We learn that they're actually really close friends, apparently, and they're on these cool missions. And they keep iterating in this episode. They are friends. Fair enough. Pike's friends with everybody on his ship, although he should maintain professional detachment, shouldn't you? But anyway, never mind. Pike doesn't do that. There you go, they found a Klingon beacon. So the beam detected. Now they go, opening credits, skip through that. Right, so they've landed, and it's very jungly, and we learn that there's no life signs, it's just plants, and there's no animal life at all. So does that make it Class L? I'm sure on TNG, I think the episode The Chase, they went to a planet that I think they said were Class L. Lots of flora, but no animal life whatsoever. And they said that were Class L. But I think that's also been... I think we've seen other Class L planets that have got animals on. Anyway, whatever. There's no animal life at all on this planet. But he says that's fine, because we're just here to find a flower. There's the Federation Research Facility. So in they go. And they find a skeleton, a Klingon skeleton, that apparently has been bricked open by some sort of animal, but there's no animals here. But anyway, by the way, it's a bit gruesome in places, this episode, I must admit. It's not for the kiddies. Right, so in they go, being all spooky and careful, and they find the Chimera blossoms. There they are. They've got to wear masks and gloves. Oh, he finds another part of a body, pulls it out, and I think this is another Klingon. I think that's a Klingon boot, I think. Is it? Or is it a Federate? I can't... If it's got a spiky bit on the boot, it's a Klingon, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it's just part of a leg. No, it's a human foot, is this one, I think. And it's been gnawed upon. Anyway, right. So they detect something on the Enterprise. They detect something in the debris field. Spock thinks it's natural because it's moving randomly, but Ortegas has a hunch, and they find out that it's. Look at the hair. What's happening with the hair? It's like she's tied it around, hasn't she? She's braided it and tied it around, and it looks awful. Bloody hell, Luna. It doesn't look terrible. Let it flow, woman, like mine. Let your hair flow like that. Anyway, so we're going to get a look at a Klingon. I don't know what sort it is. Is it a D7? Is it going to show it there? It is. Here it comes, look. Is it a D7 or is it a D6? I've no idea what sort of Klingon battle cruiser it is, but it looks cool. Anyway, so I hear a noise, a distant screech, and M'Benga suggests it could be malfunctioning equipment. We know it's not, though. Anyway, Klingons arrive. Klingon shuttle flies over, blows up their shuttle. There it goes. Boom. As I said, cool effects. So there's no way off the planet now, apart from the Klingon shuttle. And here come the Klingons. I must admit, looking pretty cool. I'm glad we've gone back to traditional Klingons in Star Trek. New Trek. Although the uniforms still kind of linger that Discovery Klingon, Klingork design. But it is better than we've seen, to be honest. So she's here. She's in charge, by the way. She's a Klingon girl boss. She's in charge with two chaps with her. Speaking in Klingon, by the way, giving it all the Is Klingon related to Welsh? Could be. So anyway, so they're actually there. The upshot of them being here, they're not there for the zombies or whatever that we're going to see soon. They're actually there for M'Benga. Because it turns out she is the daughter of the fella that M'Benga killed last season. Remember? I'd actually forgotten. It reminded us in the recap. There were a Klingon. He was like a traitor, wasn't he? A traitor to the Klingon people. Some sort of diplomat, wasn't he? I can't remember. But M'Benga had fought him in the Klingon War and basically took the opportunity to assassinate him. Although he says he did it in self-defense, and she's there, but she's not there to. I'll just keep skipping. She's not there to avenge his death. She's there because she says that he dishonoured her family because of his traitorous ways. So she's there basically. The only way she can get her honour back is to kill his assassin. I'm not sure how that works, because if he were died, if he were assassinated and he were dishonoured anyway. She's been suffered discommendation. I'm not sure how else to say that. Is she discommended? I don't know. But anyway, like Worf had. But yes, she's got some Klingons with her who aren't turning their backs on her, not giving it all that, and turning away. But anyway, as I said, they don't know anything about Star Trek really. They hear these key phrases but don't really understand it, do they? But anyway, so they have a little fight with the Klingons. But then zombies appear. Look, leaping out of the undergrowth and start attacking, biting, and all that stuff. And they do actually call them zombies. There they are, ripping one of the Klingons to pieces. So they run away. Right, back on the Enterprise, Batel's in incredible pain, screaming her head off because of the pain. This is that new ensign, whose name I can't remember, trying to help. Spock comes in and decides to mind meld with her to try and help her pain. So he does that, but it just shares the pain, a bit like Cyborg. But it doesn't really help, because it kind of taps into the Gorn that's inside. Is there just one? I don't know. There you go, he's screaming his head off. And she gives him a good slap. Christine gives him a good slap to bring him out of it. And he throws the young ensign, medical ensign, across the room as well. So he apologises. And so, it kind of seems to have helped because she's not screaming in agony anymore. And maybe he's just taking her mind off it. Anyway, they've got to decide what to do, how they're going to save the captain. They're not responding to any hails. Supposed to get in touch with them regularly. change your hair. A hair is too distracting in this episode. No Commander Peelia, by the way. Maybe they couldn't afford it for this episode and they're just sending Scotty. But anyway. So what they've got to do, they've got to basically drift through the debris field. And, oh, hang on, there we go. All right, there's the treaty line. Right, fair enough. Because they didn't linger on this watching the episode. I've paused it. There's the Enterprise is on outside the treaty line. And they're basically just going to drift in through the belt there, the debris belt, and try and get to the shuttle. But it's going to take them hours. And Ortegas is not happy about that. It'll take them like 4 hours, and then later on the upscale it to 6 hours. And Ortegas is not happy with doing that. She wants to get there and save them. She's just warping in and dropping out of warp in the upper thermosphere. But anyway, so she's kind of been not subordinate, but she's been passionate about her views. And she said she could do it, but they decide to go with Spock's plan of basically taking hours to get there. They're talking about Ortegas kind of being a little bit insubordinate, but not really. A hair can't do it. Can't do what we can't. Oh, it's doing me head. Right, back on here. They've escaped the Klingons with all the zombies and stuff. They've run away. They're in this area here. Did I mention Ken Forey? The name, obviously they're inspired by the Dawn of the Dead films. Ken Forey was an actor in Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero one. He was also in From Beyond. I can't think of anything else he was in. But there's also Shaun of the Dead references. I mean, Ken Forey was even mentioned in Shaun of the Dead. The electronic shop that Shaun worked in Shaun of the Dead were called Ken Forey Electrics or something. But, it were on his shirt, where he had red on him. But they also mentioned that he talks about, he says, let's just call them zombies, this Pike. And Mabenga says, don't call them that, they were once humans and Klingons. So he says, we'll call them Z words instead. Or as they say in Shaun of the Dead, Z words. Right, anyway, there we go. We'll have to engage with those. Serious lack of a better word, zombies. And then he says there, look, don't call them that. Why not? Because it's ridiculous. That's from Shaun of the Dead. They don't say that. Anyway, and this is explaining how they become zombies. I'm not entirely sure. That was good. Merge these plants with a perennial moss that is like super aggressive. It just eats everything. There we go. Lays dormant and never dies, and so that's why. So they're essentially moss zombies. Probably why they look a bit, iffy. Yeah, moss consumes every plant around it to proliferate. So that's what they're doing so the moss zombies. These moss zombies are doing that. Look, Z word. Anyway, but they've still got to find a way off the planet. They haven't got a shuttle, remember. It's saying the Enterprise will find a way to get in and beam us out. So that's what they've got to try and do. I think she knew there was a chance that something could go wrong or whatever, and he didn't tell her. But I don't know. But he's getting angry. Here come the zombies. There they are. Look. Oh, here come the Klingons with their super powerful disruptors. By the way, all the phasers and disruptors are all wrong in new Star Trek. That phasers are supposed to be orangey red, aren't they? But they keep showing them as blue, and disruptors are supposed to be like a greeny colour, aren't they? Greenish hue. Sometimes a bit of yellow and greeny yellow, but usually, but the Klingon ones are red. I don't know. But and they're just like making the zombies explode like that when they shoot them. They're turning them to skeletons. But anyway, they hide in a closet, but then they get found. Here, lots of disruptors going off, and all the zombies have been cleared out. And this is where we get a bit of exposition. But he got first, that one, and she shoots them both. Does whatever she's called, I've forgotten. Maybe it'll tell us in But anyway, does he tell them? Does she tell them in a minute? I don't know. Anyway, so they've got to get up to the roof because the comms stuff is up on the roof. And luckily, there's the shuttle, by the way, the Klingon shuttle. Still sticking with that old Discovery kind of designs, aren't they, for that Klingon shuttle? It looks like something from Dune, doesn't it? It's like an ornithopter or something from Lex. Remember that? Looks like something from Lex, doesn't it? But anyway, there it is. Here come more zombies, look. Klingon ones this time, screeching. So it is pretty cool. But luckily, around the comms thing, there just happens to be force field emitters for some reason. And they get inside and activate the force field. The zombies can't get at them. And is this when she tells them who she is? Over that earlier on, I can't remember. But anyway, yes. This is where she explains to them who she is. We go, daughter of. I'm just saying her name because I can't remember. Oh, Bitha. There we go. She's Bitha, daughter of Dakra, champion of House Rach. Anyway, so they're still gonna, they're still trying to drift through the debris field, but Ortegas kind of fluffs that up, kind of deliberately, and she gets punished for it later. She's told not to exceed 1/8 impulse, but she does. We see that she does. And the Klingons detect them, so it like forces the hand, and they've got to warp in to save them. They've estimated time 6 hours now because they've got to slow down a bit. I'll go by a more circuitous route, but she goes a bit faster than she should. They've been spotted, and anyway. Pike got stabbed in the leg by Bitha, but he's dealing with him. So that's where she's telling them that she's got to kill M'Benga, or she's got to fight him to the death to get her on her back. Anyway, so they've got to basically warping. There we go, accelerating. So they're warping in. There we go. She's threatening Pike. Tell us, did you assassinate my father? So he says, yes, I did. The opportunity was there, and I did it willingly, and I will do it again because he said it originally did it in self-defense. But anyway. So they're going to have a bit of a fight. They're going to have a strap match. Is this a thing? I don't know. But she gets this strap out that she says it's got the blood of her family on or whatever. So they tie it around. So it's like a strap match, in wrestling. A Texan strap match. So they've got to fight with those attached to them. And he wins, does M'Benga. Oh, he wins. He beats her. But he doesn't kill her. He yields or whatever. He spares her life. So she's still dishonoured. Anyway. So the Enterprise comes out of warp in the upper atmosphere. It looks all cool and stuff. But has it got his shields up? It must have. Looks like it, doesn't it? How they're going to beam him up through the shield. I keep forgetting about stuff like that. It's not just in modern Star Trek. Anyway, so what she's going to do now, basically... she's going to sacrifice herself to save so they can get away. Because they're going to get away on the shuttle. I think they did get the signal out, I think. But she's going to sacrifice, give herself an honourable death to keep the zombies off, away from Pike and M'Benga. So that's what she's going to do. She's got a big whip, look. So she's going to do that. So it says, choke on me. That's another reference to, I think, Day of the Dead. With I forgot the name of the character. The captain's a captain in it. I can't remember the name of the actor. I'm sorry, but has a very gory death, and he says, "I hope you choke on me," something like that. They pull him apart. So the force field fails. I think that's the zombie there that she squished its head. Looked quite vicious, but she starts fighting them off. There we go. Gives them chance to run. Got to get to the shuttle. There's the zombies coming. Michael Jackson. Gravity plating failing. I don't understand this. I thought they were in the upper atmosphere of the planet. Surely won't there be gravity there now? Don't know. I suppose it depends how fast they're going, doesn't it? I suppose. Anyway, but so they all start floating about. Look, because it's stupid. But it's not there for any reason apart from just to show them floating about. It makes no difference to the story. Anyway, all the zombies, they all get poor Bither. There we go. Just get her and just hear her screaming. They're beamed out the nick of time. And there we go. And the Klingons fire on them. They're on attack course. Boom! But the beam warp away just in time. And they're all smiling. Spock's working on the cure for Captain Battelle. And M'Benga's wondering if Pike's gonna, tell on him that he did actually assassinate that Klingon last season, and it wasn't in self-defense. But Pike basically says, we never really went to that planet because it was an unauthorized mission. We shouldn't have gone. So nothing happened there. I will not tell. Plus, you're my friend, basically. You're not a monster, Joseph. You're my friend. Ortegas gets punished for essentially insubordination. Is that the NX-01? Looks like it, doesn't it? Is it the NX-01 refit? I don't know. Or is it the Enterprise? The NCC 1701. I don't know. It looks like the NX-01, doesn't it? Anyway, whatever. She gets punished. She gets taken off the duty roster for 2 weeks. I think she says that she's got to go to basically training, command orders training or whatever she said. So she's in bad books, but I've just said, look, since I've been subordinate, your hair looks stupid. Not that Ortega's looks much better, but anyway. With chain of command training, that's what she's going to. Anyway, so she says, this can't happen again. No, sir. They're saying, hopefully this will all get better. And she cries, I'm scared. And goes, I'm scared too. Discovery, the crying. And that's the end of that episode. It was okay. I didn't mind it. Although it kind of got on my nerves a bit in places. But yeah, it was okay. A bit slight. Although, a filler episode. Convenient that there just happened to be another cure for Battelle's Gorn infection. Just happened to be there, where they could get to it, and Spock knows how to make this cure. Why is Spock doing it? Why ain't M'Benga making this cure? He's the doctor, isn't he? Spock's the science officer. But anyway, whatever. It was nice to see some Klingons and some zombies, and like I said, the homages to Dawn of the Dead and Shaun of the Dead, a bit on the nose, but as on the whole, it was an entertaining episode. It were quite entertaining. It was the best of the season so far, in my opinion. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. It were okay. I didn't mind it. I forgot to mention, during Ortegas's dressing down, she is told that they did have a way out, so they didn't have to warp in and beam them out and put the ship in danger and all that stuff, because they were going to escape on the Klingon shuttle. That doesn't mean that they'd been safe, does it, really? But that was their plan, and they got away on the shuttle anyway, so they didn't have to do all that with the warping in and beaming them out through the shields. Who knows? So a better episode. Did I give a score? 7 out of 10. I'm giving this one. Last week's I gave episode 1 5, on a fan, and episode 2 6. Not as much of it, slightly better, but not as much. And this one was okay, but not amazing. It's not reaching the heights of seasons 1 and 2 for me. But so far it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it were going to be, absolutely terrible. I thought it were going to be Discovery levels of bad, and it is kind of getting close. I've got to admit, it is kind of getting close to Star Trek Discovery levels, which is unfortunate. As I said, I think Alex Kurtzman's in there telling them to do things, do it this way, do it that way. And he's the boss, so they've got to do what they're told, haven't they? I think that's what's going on. An okay episode, but not the best. 7 out of 10, which is a decent score. Isn't it? So, as I said, it entertained me, and I like zombies. I'm a zombie fan. So it can't be some Klingon and human zombies. So there we go. So we'll leave it there. What's next week's episode called, by the way? Next week's episode is called A Space Adventure Hour. Or is that the one where we're going to be on like the holodeck or whatever? I don't know. And this one directed by Jonathan Frakes. So hopefully that'll be fun. We will see. Is it going to be the holodeck, or is it going to be the wreck deck? Is it going to be what they call it? A prototype holodeck? Don't know. Is it going to be a holo suite on the space station, an alien space station, or whatever? I don't know. But anyway, who knows? We will see next week, won't we? So that's that to look forward to. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Live long and prosper, and until next time, I'll say the...
That old Yorkshire geek with stories to unfold. Keep your